Hey there, kids. It's me, Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Ohno radio show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
Welcome back to yet another edition of the Ohno Wrestling Podcast. I am Owen, and I am your Sharpray Kid. Along with me is my good friend Duncan, the King of Bong Style, and our predictions champion, all the way from somewhere in Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than Matthew, the modern day Maharaja. Yes, that's right. We're here, everybody. And we've got, we're going to be recording 2 shows tonight. I don't know if we'll release them both at once. It's a double header for us.
Double.
As it is, I would dare say, probably the biggest week in the wrestling year, right? I mean, especially
There's something going on this week.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been struggling.
How we're doing a show. There's like There's so much fucking wrestling to be watching. I mean, we need to watch like 97 hours of wrestling a day, every day this week, just in order to stay up to date with the wrestling that's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like I made sure last night. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch every second of this Monday Night Raw, because first off, whoever watches every second of Monday Night Raw, but second, I can't be doing this to myself in a sense, because I know I'm going to have a hell of a week just trying to watch every bit of it I can, and it always makes me feel super bad because WrestleMania week always falls around my wife Teresa's birthday. And, it's like I've got something going on Thursday. That's the second night of Takeover as well. I'm recording Ohno radio show on Thursday, which is her birthday. It's like, oh, man, just can we, like, bump your birthday back a week? Like,
right, either forward or backwards.
Forward or backwards.
Yeah. We could talk to WWE. We could see. I mean, we do have a little bit of say.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got a little bit of
pull with them. So, but I will say this: it's a lot of fucking wrestling going on this week.
Holy
it is.
Shit.
Before we get into all of that, my camera froze. Wonderful. All right, I'm gonna just do this. I'll switch to my shit cam. And
is that the one that we look at?
Yeah, it's the one that you look at. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Figure out how to do that.
I'm glad we've been getting your good side this whole time.
Yeah, now you got the shit cam. The lighting's not as good, but it'll work. I don't know.
Do you see the lighting in this majestic place that I am? This palace that they call the Spring Hill Suite.
Estate.
Oh,
yeah. It was like coming home, coming back to this place. Spent a whole month here.
All right, there we go. I guess I can do this now if I'm not doing that. Hang on one second.
My God. Here we go. Everything has to be just right.
Oh, no, I can't do it that way. It's fine. We got it covered. I just, my eye line's going to be a little bit weird. There we go. We're in, everybody.
Make everything weird.
So no, I just wanted to talk about that. Back to my wife's birthday, I was researching it, and I found out, of course, that she was born in 1988, which was WrestleMania 4, and Teresa was born in New Jersey, and coincidentally, WrestleMania 4 was held in New Jersey.
Atlantic City.
Did you just figure out all these things about your wife's birthday? She was born in 1980. Like, you're like, I just figured this out.
Like, really?
It was
guys,
more.
This is weird.
It was more the WrestleMania. It was more the WrestleMania thing being in the town that she was born in. But
WrestleMania 4 and 5 were both at the same venue in New Jersey.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trump Plaza and Casino.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. There we go. Duncan with his ridiculous facts, his knowledge.
Wapner. Definitely Wapner.
So let's go into some of the biggest before we get into the whole takeover side of things and the whole WrestleMania side of things, which we're going to do on a separate independent podcast and show. But let's get into some of the stuff that has been going around the wrestling world that's outside of the main roster of WWE. And one of those big things that I think all of us can agree that we were all incredibly shocked that happened over this past week was the announcement that Chris Jericho is now going on the Broken Skull Sessions with Steve Austin on the WWE Network. I think immediately following night 2 of Mania. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like their huge lead-in.
Wow.
Which is gonna. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna watch it straight through. So.
I mean, at this point, yeah, I'll be so desensitized by everything, I might not remember any of it, but I'll probably.
Doesn't matter. Somebody will put out a list that we can reread.
A list.
I hope. A list. Yeah, there you go. I hope that they talk about Tide and
they will
washing your clothes in cold water.
Yeah.
And that maybe Jericho is like going to bring, like, he's got a fabric softening sponsor that he's going to bring in, like Snuggles.
Yeah.
Something like that,
It would make
it talk about that shit.
Make a lot of
sense.
Just
to like get because no one will know because our brains will be so fried from watching too much fucking wrestling.
Oh my God.
And probably seeing some finish that we're all super upset with.
It's true. That's Roman Reigns night. Let's not forget.
Yeah, indeed. I do wonder how much, they will get into talking about AEW and Chris Jericho's choice to, of course, leave WWE and sign with AEW. Do you think they will go in depth on that? Do you think that it will? I mean, how in depth on that do you think they'll get?
The only way they go in depth on it is if Jericho fucking just continues to suck Vince's dick. Like, he's not gonna let him go on. Like, I just don't feel like that Broken Skull Ranch series with Stone Cold's affiliation to WWE and Vince and everything, like, that's not going away. But like, I just don't think that there is some sort of control that, like, they're not gonna let him say anything without saying Vince has been great. Vince has been great with the transit. Like, I've told him, he was supportive. Like, it's going to be this sugar-coated thing, and I think if it happens, they're not gonna like fully just talk about AEW.
I don't know that it's that sugar-coated though, because I think that's been the narrative the whole time, right? That Jericho and Vince they've had a pretty good relationship throughout the whole thing, and I don't know that there's any bad blood there, right? Like, at least.
Well, I know that
he's not going to want to put AEW's name consistently
Jericho,
on a program after finishing off night 2.
They might.
Do they mention it at all? Do they say it by name at all? Or do they say that other company choosing to go elsewhere, that type of thing?
Yeah. I think that they might work around something like that. But honestly, Jericho has been pretty straightforward with the fact that he told Vince that he was thinking about doing it, and Vince just sort of like laughed it off. It was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that'll never happen. That'll never work.
Right, and then when he signed, Vince was just like, well, what the hell? He's like, well, can you get out of it? No,
Vince, they signed a contract.
Right. So I think that Vince and Jericho, dude, Vince has had such shitty relationships with so many old talent that he has then reconnected with, that I don't think that he's necessarily as pissed at Jericho as we all want him to be.
He's definitely not, which is why he's, I think, allowing this to go forward. But I just think that, like, the whole talking about it thing is like, talk about anything but that. Talk about your favorite WrestleMania moments. Talk about working WrestleMania. Talking like Stone Cold and Jericho legends talking about this. Do not fucking bring up Revolution or like any fucking bullshit about Le Champion or something. Talk about your championships when you were here. Talk about that. Like there's no incentive for Vince or any part of WWE to have him talk about AEW.
I kind of disagree on that. I think there is incentive. I think there's incentive from both sides. I think that, fans of Chris Jericho now in AEW will all be tuning into it. And I think that there will be people who, from the WWE side, it's their chance to be like the what if Chris Jericho were to come back. And it's sort of, from that point, it is an incentive for them to kind of even just get that idea out there into the ether that might be possible that Jericho ends his career or comes back one day to WWE because look, we have this relationship together type thing.
I think that that's highly likely, to be entirely honest.
Do you think that might actually be might happen one day?
I think that was probably always Jericho's plan.
You might
go do a few years, make a big splash in another pond. Right? Like he has reinvented himself. He has made himself relevant again.
Helped the industry by getting this new company off the ground.
Right. And he has done more wonders for his career with this than he ever could have if he'd have stayed in WWE.
Oh, yeah. He would have gotten stale even for us who were Jericho marks in the list days and everything. It's like, I don't know that he could have done a lot of the stuff that he's doing now in WWE. I mean, it would have been a tamer version, I suppose.
If it would have even gotten off the ground in the first place.
Right.
So I think that, like Jericho does a few years in AEW, gets a chance to like really go around the world, re-solidify the fact that he's a GOAT. And then comes back
for Legends Night.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I'm not saying he won't ever make an appearance I completely agree with what you're laying out there. I think it'll happen. I think it's a couple of years away still, but there's a part of me that is like, well, if I want to go down the conspiracy theory road with I'm seeing it from this business standpoint, it's like their incentive is have him on, there's eyes coming, and hopefully it's don't talk about it or just touch on it for a second, because we're hoping that a lot of the AEW crowd who is fuck WWE, which really anyone who watches AEW and says fuck WWE still watches WWE.
Oh yeah.
Let's be real. But they're going to be tuning in to that Mania thing, and so maybe this is also an olive branch in a sense of we're the same way they're working with Impact. They're not going to do cross promotional like that, but this is a weird sort of cross promotion.
It is.
So the conspiracy theory part of me wants to is is this laying the seed then? If you guys are saying what kind of laid out way down the road.
Where's my tinfoil hat?
That's the fifth belt Kenny comes for.
Oh, I mean, if that was the case, that they could put together some mammoth crossover. I mean, now there are no doors, let alone forbidden ones. But if that were to be the case, a crossover event, you could do a pay-per-view. I mean, at one time, one night only, AEW,
it would
WWE.
have to be a weekend thing.
Dude, Vince's ego and how deep his fucking pockets are. His ego is so big, and his pockets are so incredibly deep.
And so are Tony
And I'm
Khan's.
not saying this is happening. Definitely, but I think that Vince, with the wrestling thing, could be I will buy all of that. Yeah. Hi, Sharks. My name is Vince McMahon, and I'm trying to buy AEW. Have you ever been on a Wednesday night trying to decide between NXT and AEW Dynamite? I have. What did I do? I moved my programming. Now I want to buy AEW. Who's with me? That's literally what I feel like he could just purchase this and then somehow, and this is a crazy conspiracy theory I've never thought of until now, but just as a big fucking ego move, it's when he bought up all of the territories. It's he sees what's happening and he's fuck this is my last big play before I kick the bucket. I am going to do that. I'll buy them all.
No.
I don't think that will happen, but how crazy would that
No,
be?
but you think about it, right? He could do it, but those other companies, Ring of Honor, Impact, and AEW, I think it would be hard for him to buy all three of them, specifically to get all three of them to sell.
Yeah.
But going back to the Jericho, I love the conspiracy theory. I want it to happen. Like, I want there to be this big, like, weekend in the summer that's, like, nothing but all of the big five. Like,
that'd be amazing.
All of them.
Yeah.
WWE, Impact, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, CMLL, AAA, your mom's backyard wrestling federation, my mom's backyard wrestling federation,
insane championship wrestling,
Juggalo championship wrestling,
right? Yeah, all the
game changer wrestling. Like, give me all of it.
Federation Pro Wrestling Federation.
Yes,
and then they'll put on a 4-day event that's like 24 hours of wrestling each and every day, and they don't even go off air. It just rolls into the next thing that just like continues. Like it's yeah.
God, but like 3/4 of it is going to be like Talking Shop of Mania 9.
I'm in for it.
One was great. 2 was there.
Yeah.
Anything after that is going to be. I mean, Owen and I could go to Tampa on Friday.
Yeah, it's true.
And go see the Good Brothers in person.
Oh, get a personal meet and greet with Sex Ferguson.
With Sex Ferguson and Chad Too Bad.
Yeah, you get to fucking shoot him up with roids and fucking buttocks if you pay enough.
Yeah, damn right. And then it spits it out, and I'm like, I think you're full, brother.
Yeah.
Speaking of those guys, sorry, go ahead. Finish your thoughts.
I just really quickly, you guys have talked about this on the last 2 podcasts that I wasn't able to be a part of. You guys were talking about Chris Jericho and giving money to whether it's political or like this last thing was like the Uber thing and stuff like that. And you guys were saying like is there like some incentive for him other
is
than
he trying to like
buy his way out, look better, PR move?
The other incentive there is you can do 2 birds with one stone and donate money, and then you don't have to pay as much taxes. So like if you just dish out donations, like you know what I'm saying, like to a certain amount. So like he could be doing that to a certain amount. It's like, hey, it makes me look good, and I'm fucking like it's. You know, I'm getting lower taxes. And I'm cheating
on my taxes.
Yeah, I mean that's
like I've wondered that before, and then you guys started talking about it, and I was like, because that would be something fucking Jericho and his money person would tell him to do.
Yeah,
is definitely do it. So I see a little bit of both. I did want to say really quickly too. Did you guys are fully cocked? You guys are on the peacock.
Yep, I'm fully cocked. I'm ready to. I'm ready to.
I am not half cocked. I got pills for that.
I got mania on my cock coming here soon.
I just signed up last night. Just because I had
you off the network.
Yeah. Well, they're kicking me off on the 10th. They said, which is what that's the night before, or it's the second night of Mania, and it said the email says the 10th, but I'm like. That was a little too convenient to take my $9.99 all the way up to the point. I should have just canceled. That was my fault. But regardless, last night, I know they've been doing that promotion, but they finally got me. It was the first time I ever scanned a barcode on the TV was when I had Raw on.
Yeah.
And I was watching it, and they like brought it up, and they're like, the whole $250. I was like, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Right. So I might as well save a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll save a little bit, do it right now, and then I was like, I'll see how the commercial thing works out for WWE content, And little do they know, I actually won all around because my credit card gave me $3 cash back on that purchase. So fucking winning.
Nice. And from what I've seen, it's what I've experienced. It's not been too terrible on the commercial side of things. It's no different than any other real streaming service. And I know the pay-per-views are going to be more or less exactly the same as we've been used to. So
the only difference is you can't start from the beginning.
Yep.
So if you come in late, you just have to pick up where it is,
or wait until it's over and then watch it.
And then do the replay.
Exactly.
So,
and that is, I think, that is kind of an unfortunate thing. But over time, they're gonna figure out that feature. They'll put it in.
I'm sure they will.
All these like little teething things, like they're not as big of a deal as as a lot of wrestling fans have made them out to be. Let's be real.
Right. No, and us included. And like honestly, I will be watching both nights of WrestleMania on Peacock. I'd say I'd be watching both nights of NXT, but that's a different story.
We'll get into that in a second.
listen. But let's be honest, most of my free time is spent watching a show that went off the air like 4 fucking years ago. And that's Lucha Underground.
Yeah. I've been getting into it. I've been really enjoying some Lucha Underground. I decided to take a little bit of a hiatus and wait till this Mania week is over, and then I'm gonna pick.
A terrible idea.
Then I'm gonna pick it back up, and I think I really will delve into that world, and maybe that's something we can do as like a little side project, do little like
mini-sodes about Lucha Underground.
Yeah, I think that'd be something fun.
I'll get into it. Maybe we all wear lucha masks when we talk about it. That's the segment.
Never heard a better idea in my life.
I love it.
I
absolutely love it.
That even gets me in even more.
Moving on slightly, I do want to talk just a little bit more about AEW before we get into the world of NXT.
Up, that's what I say.
And how'd you guys feel about the match with Christian's first match this past week?
Well, that was okay.
Yeah,
it was solid.
I'll give it a solid clap.
Yeah,
it was solid. Like
as we said before, perfect opponent.
Yep.
There was a couple like real big bumps, like one in particular that Christian took off the like top rope, like Kazarian kind of like just sort of pushed him out. Like that was a pretty nasty looking bump, and it was cool, the sort of storytelling in that, because it's just like, oh shit, like, you know, welcome to the world now of wrestling. You've been gone for a while. Yeah. Like this, remember what this is like? Remember what this is like? Like that shit hurts, right? Like, and obviously we knew Christian would win the match, but it was nice to see that. I think it's fair to say he still got it.
Well, yeah, and it was, I think everybody expected it to sort of be like a good match, but not necessarily as many impacts, pun not intended,
right?
As it was. Like,
yeah, he took quite a lot.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. So I think they did it well. I think that was a really good introduction to him on the AEW roster. Just like, okay, Christian can still go.
And there was still like a kind of quick clip going to it, you know, like they still had it fast paced enough, and even in the moments in the lulls, like it was still kind of like trudging forward with the storytelling and what they were doing. So like I think that added to it for me, because it wasn't just like, okay, we're locking up, we're wasting time, we're going to do one big bump and like we're going to do a couple of other like mid moves. Right. Like it was a solid wrestling match. Like I said, it not like the most impressive thing by any means, but it flowed nicely. Yep. Like the storytelling was good, and like just the pace that the whole thing kept at throughout was good for me. There was a move early on that there was like almost a botch, and you could kind of see them catch it, but like I don't know, it was a little weird, and I was like, was that Christian's fault? Like what was there? And it was like he was lifting him to do something, and Christian flipped back over him and like kind of like couldn't really
looked a little awkward.
It was a little awkward, a little weird, but I mean, regardless, I mean that could have just been a slip of like a weird angle and landing on your foot wrong, you know.
Outside in the Florida humidity,
it was still better than every single match on last night's Raw. Just put it like that. Like that's all you got to really say.
Can't even really argue about that.
Anyway, you can't.
Last night's Raw was
that was pretty dog shit. I mean, let's just call a spade or a piece of dog shit a dog shit.
Call the turd a turd.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed the Pinnacle inner circle segment.
Ooh, that was
really good.
That
was really
brawl
good.
was
I love when he opened the fucking door in the bathroom, and then all of a sudden that was like Jericho's like murking, like like, you know, like
he looks different
like,
too. He's growing out.
He's growing out like a Stone Cold Killer, and they look hard.
Scruff. He's got like I think
Proud and Powerful looked fucking like they looked like some Puerto Rican motherfuckers you would not want to see on the screen.
We're about to see the best version of the inner circle that we have seen. I think in all this, I'm really excited. Like the Pinnacle, I'm excited for the Pinnacle and what they do, but I'm almost more excited at the moment for the reinvention of the inner circle. And
it's gotten me back into the inner circle,
because now there's not this like at least for me, there's not this like as comedic, like it established them. It was like the heel turn they needed, you know, because they were like, I mean, they've always been heels. Like,
is it though, or is it a face turn that they needed, like the tough faces? Because in my mind, I feel like the inner circle are more turning face to be
That's
against
true. I guess
the pinnacle.
I guess I was just in my mind going like the more like badass, like getting away from like the jokey, like funny like segments, like the stuff
It's
that
the
MJF and
serious
Jericho
turn.
did dance. Yeah, that's a way better way of saying it.
So and I loved it. And did you see that fucking wound on the side of fucking Homeboy's head?
Yeah. I thought that was at first. I thought that was definitely like a work, like like that's some carny shit. But apparently that was real as fuck. Like that was like that. I mean, and when you see it, like that's it was a pretty brutal one.
Dude, there's been some shit that I have seen in Lucha Underground, and I'm just like, this was on El Rey? Fuck.
A cable network? Yeah.
There's some violent shit on there.
Yeah.
And some stuff that makes the barbed wire death match, finish aside, the rest of the barbed wire death match, it makes it look like fucking Candyland frolics.
Without a doubt. Speaking,
you just wait. You're gonna get there, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck, dude?"
I can't wait for it. I'm sure I will enjoy. But speaking of like the barbed wire death match and another death match, of course, mad props to Britt Baker. But I just wanted to quickly talk about her quick little promo that she cut on this past week's Dynamite, because I loved it in the fact that like there was intelligence there, how she was still fucking with Thunder Rosa, and was like, guess what? You know what? I heard she's going to be on Elevation or Dark. I think it was Dark Elevation. She's going to have a match on there, and that's good for her. She needs to do that because she needs to get some wins to get up in the ranks because, as you know, last night's match or last week's match was
an
unsanctioned. Therefore, it doesn't count. And I thought that was the perfect. It was you bitch. I loved every bit of that. But I think I interrupted what you were going for, saying something, Matthew.
No, well, first off, I'll agree. I thought that segment was good. Her talking shit to Thunder Rosa like that worked really well. When you were talking about the death match and then the Candyland type thing, that then made me think of the main event of Dynamite, which was...
Before we get to that, though, let's talk about how good that six-man tag was. Because that six-man tag, we can't just gloss over that. Like, that was just, Jesus Christ, Rey Fenix. I don't know how you do it.
It's like watching Lucha Underground.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like,
which Duncan, good brother, thank you for sending me the Rey Fenix mask. I had a care package when I arrived home like 2 weekends ago, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" There's a bunch of other cool stuff in there, but Rey Fenix mask right there. He's like, "Yeah, you said you needed one." So
yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be a minute before we can go to Mexico. However, you're about to get that 5G. I'm all 5G'd up, so. Once we get, once we're all hooked up into the network.
I went to Mexico and all I came back was this shitty scar from a fucking sea urchin.
I know, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna avoid any beachside resorts, and we're just gonna go to Mexico City and hang out downtown, and buy lucha shit and go. And dude, you're gonna drink 100 peso beers that are like the size of this water bottle, which is 32 ounces.
I'm
I think if I go there and I take on a lucha persona, I think I would be, however you say sea urchin in Spanish, or the urchin, and then my mask would be all the different spikes coming
That's a good
out,
mask.
like all over. Yeah, it's a pretty good mask, right? And because sea urchins are all different colors, there's a lot of species, and then I could also
have multiple kinds of masks.
Yeah, and I could also hide a spike on me somewhere and fucking spike someone during the match. You know, because I can't do the flip, so I gotta have something.
I love it. But I mean, again, fantastic six-man tag. I don't know how much else to say about it. It worked out perfect.
I'll text it to you.
But
sorry, that six-man tag, man. So I was talking about the Christian one, saying that one kept at a like fast pace. I mean, that six-man tag, I mean, even during the commercials, and I know the way they do that split screen, and they do it with everything, any type of sports or sports entertainment, but it's like, no matter how much I'm watching, it really works because I always end up going back to the commercial just because it's a little bit bigger, like your eye natural, so you kind of have to force. Like I was actually glued in.
It's like when you're in a sports bar and like you're having a
Exactly.
conversation with something, and there's TVs everywhere. And even though you don't like fucking college baseball or what was it that we were watching, college softball,
women's college softball.
Yeah, you end up just somehow like your eye it catches your eye, and you drift off to it, and 100% same thing, I think.
But but during this match, I was making it a point like I got to keep watching during the commercial breaks. I mean, that was all a really good pairing across the board. I mean, again, Ray Phoenix, but like everyone across the board in that match, but especially the luchadors on that side.
I know.
Dude, and Laredo Kid is underrated.
Very underrated, and I want to see more and more of him, to be honest. So yeah, he's got a fan out of me very quickly, having not known much of his work. Very very quickly, it's like, okay, yeah. Seen like 2 matches, I'm in.
Yep.
That's enough for me. But I was gonna ask you guys, kind of on topic, off topic, but obviously TNT doing the picture-in-picture thing has been a big deal. Are NXT doing the same thing, like on USA? Because I tend to just like sometimes if it's a more boring match on AEW, I will flip over and try and catch it, and then it's. I think 99% of the time, I don't think they are doing that picture-in-picture. I think they have done it, but it's a smart marketing technique for TNT and AEW to keep people from switching back and forth, if you will. So that
the last time that I watched AEW was like there. So like,
yeah, I know you don't have cable, but
no, but I think. I don't know if they do or not. What I will say is every time I've been there, when they go to commercial, you don't necessarily know that they're at a commercial. Unlike
you're talking NXT.
Raw. Yeah.
Yeah. It's less evident.
Yeah. So my thinking is that they are doing a picture-in-picture thing, at least for some of the matches.
Maybe it's some, not all. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think main roster does it, don't they?
So SmackDown had done it for a while. I don't know if they still do it, but like we've talked about it like many episodes ago about this, like a year or so ago.
SmackDown still
and it was
does
like,
it for
and it was like Raw wasn't really doing it, but SmackDown was doing it because it's also I think like a fucking thing that other sports, I'm sure NFL and like other sports, definitely utilize that same thing. But it's definitely smart what you're saying. I've never even thought about that, Owen.
Yeah, to keep people
from flipping smart.
back.
I think on the Ohno radio show, you brought it up a couple of weeks ago. You were talking about kind of picture-in-picture, and you guys were talking about something that made me think of this similarly. And I was actually thinking, yeah, we talked about SmackDown having it. Raw hasn't really had it. I don't know if SmackDown has had it recently, but the way that they've done it, and I know that the way that they've talked about on AEW is kind of like, what if there was eventually like a victory, like there was a pin during that, it would make it seem like more you got to keep watching,
right?
Because anything can happen. I think Jericho said that on a podcast, but also I think it's on WWE, whether or not NXT is doing it or main roster is doing it. I know that a while ago that they were told, especially during the pandemic, because those pictures came out of like when they were on a commercial break on Raw or something. It was like Alexa Bliss and shit, like just sitting there, and it was like you need to work through it, like as if nothing were happening. And I think maybe that's their line is like, we could use it and maybe we will, but like maybe that's another way to keep them in the moment working. It's like, you don't know, we could be using it,
That's a good point. That's a real good point. Should we move on then to the main event of last week's Dynamite? Because it definitely is warranted. Like this whole episode of Dynamite, by the way, was a very good episode of Dynamite. I think
it's all. I mean, it's not being done a whole lot of justice because we have to try and keep the show truncated to still fit in like 2 nights worth of prediction.
But that's kind of why I wanted to just like give it some emphasis, early on in tonight's show, because I really, really enjoyed the arcade. What is it? Arcade Anarchy, or was that the name of it? Arcade.
Yeah, I think Arcade Anarchy.
Sounds right. It's not. If not, trademark that.
I loved it. I honestly, I don't think it was quite as good as the street fight with Proud and Powerful and the Best Friends. I don't think it was good as that, but it was damn close, and it had fun moments. It had moments. And it had a real touching moment at the end that actually gave me some feels.
I don't think it should have been the main event.
Oh, I completely disagree.
I don't think it should have been the main
What should
event.
have been the 6-man?
The 6-man.
Okay.
I was left wondering why it was the main event. I didn't hate it. I absolutely
I liked it,
and I liked it way more than I thought I was going to, because I went into it like
with
a
the build
with a pessimistic asshole, just saying, I literally went into it saying, like, really, this program is still going on?
No, that's not being pessimistic. That's being absolutely realistic. We should have had no reason to give any fucks about this.
Right.
And they somehow turned that around into something that was both enjoyable, fun, and all in all a good wrestling match. Yeah, were there certain parts that were gimmicked, like stupidly, like when Miro picked up one of the gimmicked arcade machines,
cabinets,
and you can clearly see it's just like
empty. It's just a shell.
Yeah. But I mean, come on, we're watching an arcade match around a wrestling ring.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm fine with it.
I think I've suspended disbelief enough. Like, because I remember I saw that, because it was Mortal Kombat 2, I believe.
Yeah,
right.
And actually threw, and when I saw it, I was like, there's guts up in there. I was like, It's also half the size, but like, for when it's around the ring and they're just passing it, I'm like, I'm buying it.
And it's also like the same when Chris Statlander showed up, and then like they did that cut to that
claw spot.
The claw spot, but they did the weird cut when she smashed the glass at Penelope.
I loved that, by the way, and
I love that too.
That's the first time that I've actually given a shit about Chris Statlander.
I think all of us, because I know it's, well, apart from Matthew, who it's his literally favorite wrestler, ever. I've always been a huge fan.
I've only ever said good things,
especially her promos. I mean, you definitely always have enjoyed those.
All of us have enjoyed those so very much.
Then you got the Lego spot.
The Lego spot was good.
Dude, I've seen Lego spots done before, and
CZW used to do them quite a bit, didn't they? Yeah.
It always looks like it's gonna hurt more than thumbtacks.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it still sucks. No. Give me the Legos over the thumbtacks. I got a thing with thumbtacks. That's all.
You're not gonna.
I will say Orange Cassidy looked really strong. I thought that this was good because when he went in, it was not kind of that, like, he was at the ramp, your favorite music ever, Duncan, was playing, and then all of a sudden, like, he literally just, like, took off the jacket and like, he was like, let's go. Like, it was like attack mode from the get-go. It was not this like lackadaisical, like, I don't get, like, and so from the get-go, literally at the entrance, song was playing, and he like took off the jacket and the shirt and was like, and like literally looked and said, let's go.
They're not overusing that music yet. It'll come,
it'll come.
But they're not overusing it yet, which I like. Something we kind of talked about on last week's show as well. But then you got, of course, the return of Trent with it's Sue, right? Sue, his mom. Sue dropping him off. That the whole thing with Trent coming back, and then to have the kind of alliance, I suppose, of the best friends with Cassidy and now Statlander presumably being a part of, I guess, a faction now, if we're going to call it that. But I loved it.
AEW needed another stable.
They did. They were really short of them. They needed at least another one or two. And Sue better be a part of it. Sue is actually the leader of that.
She has to be a part of it.
That would be amazing.
Imagine there and all right.
Wasn't Sue part of Dark Order? Like,
she was. Yeah, she's actually a Dark Order member, I think, still to this day. So you got to watch out for Sue. Actually, might be the incel. She might be the incel to the best.
Incel
friends.
Is not. Wait, that's not what that means.
I forgot what that means. I'm sorry.
Incel is a very, very different thing.
Yeah,
she's a sleeper cell.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. I knew it was something like that.
Is not involuntarily celibate.
But But you could have Sue honestly drive have her drive the minivan with them to the ring. Like
that's what I'm saying. It would be, imagine they put a camera in the back and like all of them are in there, and it's kind of this thing where like, like one Statlander's like, I don't know, excited and like talking about something, like Orange Cassidy's just saying there like, I do not give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? There could be like funny interactions in the back of a video, like with like I don't know. There's some funny things I think that we could actually see from that. So as much as I guess we were all on the same page as why is this happening? They pulled it off, and for me, and I also got to say I really enjoyed, like we were talking about the arcade machine, them throwing it like this, that, and the other. They had that the board or poster board or whatever, and it was like, with the barbed wire for 10,000 tickets and things like that. And then they ended up using a bunch of it.
Amazing.
I thought that was pretty awesome. They didn't use the barbed wire, which I was pissed off about, but they used a bunch of other things actually. And so I thought that the use of the props were good. Even the whack-a-mole, it felt like maybe there was a spot that like right before he went through, like it should have broken on the spot before, but it didn't. So then Cassie like came through the back, like it was weird the way that the camera cut, if I recall. I'd have to go back and watch it, but I remember when I was watching it live, I was just like, the way that they cut, like it seemed like it should have broken, and then it wasn't, and then it was like turn, and then like he came through the back side and pushed him through, and I was like, but regardless, I don't know, the whack-a-mole, like all that stuff.
It's also good. Into, like, it's also good for Miro now because they can put the distance between him and Kip. They obviously need to do that.
And they made him look really mean.
They made him look really mean,
really angry, really, and that's what he needs. He doesn't need to have this kind of comic spot. Well,
you either go full, you either go full one way or you go full the other. Like he's got great comedic timing, but the stuff that they've been doing with everything with his comedy spots, quote unquote, they haven't been working. And so yeah, you got to either make him really mean or really funny. And I think that time will come where we get to see that more humorous side of him. But not
let him be a champion and let that humor come out after he's destroyed a bunch of people and been really mean and aggressive and fucking done everything
funny.
That's what I'm saying. Like once he actually gets it, he can be cocky, funny. He can be a dick about it.
We also have Mike Tyson announced for next week's Dynamite. That broke today. Yep. Mike Tyson. I guess I don't know what they're doing with that. Are they doing something with like the Nightmare Family and like that whole thing that happened?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I do not care.
Don't really either. We'll skip over that with something we can cover another time if we need to. But there's two other very quick things that I did want to mention before we get into our takeover predictions.
Hyperspeed predictions.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about this Joey Ryan being demonetized off YouTube, Duncan.
Oh. Well, what happened was,
hey, didn't he like post like a picture of his 9-month? I mean, I guess good, but like. 9-month, he's like 9-month chip of like
9-month chip from not being
doing sexual acts with minors or something.
Oh Jesus! Was he in like?
I don't think it's
Sex Anonymous
the
or something?
Exact thing, but it's for his like active sex addiction that he's going to 12-step therapy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's been 9 months since he acted on his sex addiction.
Got it.
Allegedly.
Got it.
Yeah, allegedly. But which I think was just weird. Like, I don't think you got it. Like, I have never, think about any celebrity or anything, wrestler or anything in that situation. Like, if anyone, like, posted that, like, I just don't think you put, like, okay, like, good, but also kind of fuck you for what you did. So, like,
he's trying to do it for clout. He's trying to do it.
I know you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Right, but that's
it's
why
very
most
it's
people,
see-through. It's see-through.
But that's why everybody does that. That's why people post pictures of their vaccine cards and of like their 12-step
they do.
chips.
But I'm just saying, like any celebrity or like no one I've can you think of anyone else who's done it for sex addiction? I haven't seen Harvey Weinstein fucking post his fucking 180-day chip.
There was something with David Duchovny. Yeah, that was similar to that.
He was living the Californication.
Absolutely.
All right, well, you know what? I'll give Duchovny a pass for some reason.
Look, yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, Mulder gets a pass for being Mulder. Not for some of that other shit.
I don't know. He just doesn't seem, which I don't know exactly what he did, so I can't speak. It just doesn't seem as sleazy as Joey Ryan, who was like,
yeah.
Fuck.
Which is the problem. Like, I was watching Lucha Underground yesterday, and like he showed up, and I was just like, fuck, I forgot you were on this.
And he's the Joey Ryan character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I haven't got that far.
He hasn't dick flipped anybody yet. He's in season 2.
Got it.
Basically, so Joey Ryan's YouTube has been deleted due to
deleted or demonetized.
Deleted.
Ooh.
Delete.
You're welcome.
Yes. So he has been deleted because of multiple copyright infringements. And so this stems from, and I will read a direct quote from SoCal Uncensored. Says, I know several promotions had publicly complained about him using their footage on the channel, and he had posted footage from a certain ape-themed promotion that is very protective of their footage as well.
That one.
That
right.
one. The one that he was a founder of.
Yes, I forgot about that as well, with Excalibur.
Yes. And this is a fun fact, Matthew. As of October 2019, Joey Ryan's YouTube, which was also Bar Wrestling's YouTube, was the 5th most popular wrestling channel per Flagged Sports. Bigger than New Japan, Ring of Honor, and AAA.
That is nuts.
Damn.
So he was making good money. He was making good money off that channel. Let's think about that. Like, that's probably making more than like those What Culture guys and the like Cultaholic guys. It really is probably making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
And he had 600,000 subscribers.
Damn. That's so well. Look at that. See you
So
later.
that's
Joey
a big old
Ryan.
karmic. That's a big old karmic dick flip.
Did want to talk.
That is exactly what that is.
Well put. Well put.
Yeah.
Just quickly, let's mention, of course, Will Osprey becoming the new New Japan heavyweight champion, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And he's also a Rev Pro champ.
Yes.
Revolution Pro Wrestling. He's the Rev Pro champ, and very happy for him. He has done a lot, hasn't he, since the days of him like a couple of years ago. He's bulked up significantly. He's changed his kind of style and aura. Like, it feels to me that he feels more like a real champion and a guy that you can get behind than he would have a couple years back. Like, there's
dude, he has made the changes that Ricochet needs to make.
Ooh, well put.
That's great.
And their careers are so intertwined. That makes perfect goddamn sense. Oh, man, can you imagine a Ricochet that's bulked up a little bit? Vince would fucking spooge. Like,
dude,
pants.
he's bulked up and he went like full prick. And started doing more power moves.
Yep. Not everything is a flippy,
Yeah, not everything is flying, not everything is jumping around, but he's doing a lot of power. Dude, and his power moves look fucking hard.
I've only seen highlights, but yes, you are absolutely right.
His finisher is called the Stormbreaker, and it is...
I like that fucking name.
Gnarly, yeah.
It's a good name.
Stormbreaker? That shit's mean.
I'll also say, too, that seeing the belt over his shoulder, there's the picture of him with the Rev Pro belt on one shoulder and the New Japan belt. What we were joking about,
the Cody Rhodes tattoo belt.
The Cody Rhodes or Divas, tattoo belt.
Cody Rhodes butterfly neck tattoo.
Yeah, looks way better like that, honestly.
Way better.
It looks better, maybe this is the thing, it looks better over a shoulder than it does around a waist.
Did we see it around a waist? Or did we?
I think I saw a picture with Kota Ibushi with it around his waist. I could be mistaken.
I mean, you could be right.
I think I did, and either way, I think maybe we were just like reading too much into that because we were talking about how like it looked uncomfortable to wear.
Right.
Last week.
Yeah, we could be Mandela affecting that one.
That is very much the case. It could be could be that thing, but either way, I'll say it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely don't mind it as much now after seeing it over a shoulder. And for some reason, I know he's not the first to hold it, but presumably he'll be the first to hold that for a decent amount of time. I can't.
He's got a.
New Japan needs to do something because they're losing. They're not doing very well business wise. It sounds like their ticket sales are very low. I think this is a very good move for them as a whole to kind of like inject some newness to the product.
A couple of things about that, right, is like one, Japan still doesn't have full capacity on things.
Correct, yeah.
And they still have travel restrictions.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people that come to those, especially those big New Japan shows,
Yep,
are like Westerners. You know, it's either like Brits or they're Americans that have money and are going, you know, for a Wrestle Kingdom experience or, you know, whatever. And they're just, you know,
they're losing out from the Western travel experience.
I don't think that New Japan is. I don't think New Japan is necessarily in as big of danger as we might hypothesize. Just because they've been in business for a fairly long time, and I think that like the Japanese are very smart when it comes to like their business methods and whatnot, and I think that they would make changes before they went out of business.
I think it's a good shakeup, though. All the same.
No, it absolutely is. He's got two title defenses coming up. One is, I believe, the first one is coming up against Shingo Takagi.
Okay.
And then the second one is against Kazuchika Okada.
Oh, geez. I mean, you could easily see him dropping it back to Okada.
But Okada is like in the summer, so it doesn't really give him like. I think honestly,
he would have to beat him.
Yeah, I think Okada would. I think Okada is at the stage of his career where he can afford to take a loss to put over a new Western star.
I think you're probably right, and I think the company probably needs them to do that a little bit as well.
One more thing about Will Osprey that also ties into NXT.
Please.
The rumor is that his fiance Bea Priestley is going to NXT.
NXT UK is what I was.
NXT UK.
Reading. That's the speculation, at least, because she didn't sign with New Japan, she didn't sign with AEW, and now the speculation is that she's going back and could be NXT UK. I could also see NXT. It's Mania time, so they're about to move some people up on the roster. And
it would make more sense, though, like you say, for it to be UK.
It would.
Yeah.
It would absolutely.
Speaking of all that, shall we, boys, do some predictions?
Probably better. Our timeline is shot to hell.
It's time for your NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver predictions. Let's go with night one. All right, night one. All right. We're not going to do... I do have a thing that I think that's going to work out to make these more interesting going forward, but we're going to do that after the Mania season. And what we should probably do right now is just go through these matches, not as quick as possible. We can talk a little bit about each one, but definitely kind of, pick up some speed. And hey, let's have some fun with it, because both nights are a great card. What do you think opens up? I think it's probably the Leon Ruff, the 6-man gauntlet eliminator match to determine the number one contender for the NXT North American Championship on night 2. I think that opens the show. It might not, but doesn't matter. Let's just go with that one anyway. What are you guys feeling?
I get to go last.
I know you do.
All night.
Oh, Duncan, I'll take the bullet on this one if you want.
I got it. I have no problem saying that Dexter Lumis is going to win.
God damn it. Yep, that was exactly what I was going to go with. Because of that, I might change my answer. And you know what? I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm going to go Bronson Reed.
Oh, the thick boy.
Yep.
I love Bronson Reed.
Matthew?
Dexter Lumis.
Dexter Lumis it is. Good old DL. And you guys are probably going to pick up a point on that one. Surprised no one threw out Cameron Grimes. I thought Duncan for sure you'd be Cameron Grimes.
Look, I'm going to be cheering him on. That's going to be who I'm going to be cheering for tomorrow night when I'm there. But yeah, honestly, I think the spoiler is LA Knight.
That is a good point too. That is a very good point. They could easily do that.
But what the fuck do you do with this Gargano Loomis thing if it doesn't lead to this, because honestly, it hasn't worked out as well as I think.
I mean, I won't. It's going to give away a prediction probably, but it's
we're both on the same page.
Yeah, if Dexter Loomis does not win that elimination, if he wins it, he has to be.
He has to win it. He has to win it.
He has to win it. It has to be that story. If not, then you have to go a completely other direction.
Right.
Fair enough. Then we'll go. Okay, how about Pete Dunne versus Kushida?
Ooh.
This one is tough.
That's you. You take this one.
Yep, I'm gonna go Pete Dunne on this.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Now you guys are just making me look like a copycat instead of a champion, which I am.
We know.
But you're going. We're all going PD.
I mean, that's the one that I just don't think that you can have him go from that loss to Finn.
Yeah. I also feel bad for Kushida in that though too, because Kushida's picked up a lot of losses lately, and I think I think this is going to be one of the matches of the show. Like I think this is going to steal probably the show. But
I think it's going to be a really good match, but Kushida lost at the last pay-per-view, so it's not like this build of momentum if you're trying to tell that story, and then he's not putting him over. Pete is not a good thing for Pete's character, so I think the storyline you got to go PD's gonna rip him. It's gonna be a great match, but Kushida having lost at Vengeance Day or Valentine's, whatever the fuck it was, I don't think that just storyline wise and arc wise, it doesn't seem right.
Right. I'd agree with all that. We'll then move, I guess, to and you are picking, you're picking Pete Dunne. Okay, just to make sure we're all picking Pete Dunne on that one. So how about the triple threat tag team match for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championship?
Oh man,
we got MSK, Grizzled Young Vets, Legado del Fantasma.
Legado del Fantasma.
This one's probably the hardest one. My heart wants Grizzled Young Veterans to take it because I think they've been screwed over so much. But my brain is really kind of going with MSK. And I think they're gonna
I will agree. I think Phantasma is there to eat the pin.
Correct. I think it's Grizzled Young. Sorry, it's your choice first. My bad.
It is.
My bad.
It is. And this is the one that I've been going back and forth with for days.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yep.
Because every single video that I've watched, everybody is like Grizzled Young Vets.
You know what? I'll make it easy for you guys. Not taking Champions Advantage. I'm going MSK.
You're going MSK?
I'll go Grizzled. I'm going Grizzled Young Vets.
That's my heart of hearts. And actually, the times I've said that on this podcast that I'm going with my heart, I've fucking lost the title. So feel free to fucking wag that in my face if I lose. But
no,
I probably won't because I'm on an amazing run, and the writers wouldn't do that to me.
No, you are on an amazing run.
They would definitely not do that to you. No, it's so tough because I can see it going either Legado or either MSK or Grizzled Young Vets, right? It's just which one sets up the natural next feud. And I think, oh man.
Well, I think the next feud, regardless, is between MSK and Grizzled Young Vets. So I think either way, you're
exactly. I'm also going MSK.
MSK it is. I'll go Grizzled Young Vets. You two are MSK.
They've been my go-to for the last couple. So
Io Shirai, Raquel Gonzalez with Dakota Kai.
I'll take this one, Raquel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's time, isn't it?
And also if there's a chance for her to be picked up to the women's roster on Raw or SmackDown on the main roster, the following night, so she could drop it. And they need women. I mean, they have plenty of women wrestlers out there, but it's like AEW has plenty of women wrestlers. but you don't have like fucking like stars, and you don't, so like you need to move some people up, and we all know it's going to happen. That's what typically happens the night after. Not that so have her. It's time for that to move on.
Just because of what you just said, I think Raquel Gonzalez works better on the main roster than Io Shirai, and therefore I think Io Shirai is going to retain.
Okay.
And
I love this.
I think Io Shirai stays NXT and Gonzalez moves up to the main roster.
I mean, it could be.
That's just what I'm rolling with right now.
Could very well be.
All right. This match is going to be great.
Main event time.
Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. Do you think they put this on last, or do they put Io Shirai and Gonzalez on last? Now that I think about it, that's interesting.
They will probably they're going to put Io and Raquel on last.
That's probably what they're going to do. You're right.
Because it's going to be somebody's farewell to NXT.
That's a good point.
I'll let you know. I mean, you'll be watching, but
yeah. I guess this for me, this is Walter's.
Yeah,
it's his title, man. He's not losing it.
Well,
not now. Not to an American-based guy.
It's not that as much for me as this is going to be when Timothy Thatcher joins Imperium.
And so that's the thing that you have to think of is I mean, Ciampa, we all know is can put on an amazing wrestling match. Like, and like Walter, like it's going to be a hard hitting match, which is what we can expect from both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Imperium thing, like you were just saying, like, what is the better way with what's happening with Imperium? If you were to do Thatcher and that whole coming together somehow within this, I think that would be great. I had not thought of that, but this makes the way that I was thinking at least a little bit more solid, is that with Imperium, this is the time to actually pull this off. And if you're going to do it like and make them look really bad and really mean, and especially make like Walter like hold that and be like, like, who better to beat than Ciampa? Like in a hard hitting fucking match, like that means a lot. Ciampa doesn't need this as much as Walter does, like in storyline as a wrestler. Like he can take this loss and still put on a hard hitting match, and we will still talk about if it's a fucking great match and hard hitting. Like that match was great. It's not going to do anything to Ciampa's name to me, but like.
So you're going Walter as well?
Yeah.
Across the board.
As well. Nope.
Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you did. My bad.
No, I'm letting Matthew expound his logic.
All right. Matthew's going Walter. Duncan?
So I was all set on Walter until right this second.
Oh, no.
Until we literally were talking.
Until we talk about it, which you guys have changed my mind, and I know that happens. That happens sometimes.
Yes.
It does.
Walter will still be the United Kingdom champion. Ciampa will win the match.
DQ scenario.
Some sort of schmaz.
Okay.
So, that
fits for it not being too, like we just said, they'll put the women's main event as the main event, rather, like you wouldn't do that necessarily so much if it was the final match of the evening. I think,
I mean, you might
still, but less likely.
Leave it on a screw job, but yeah, I think that.
Oh, interesting though. So you're going Ciampa.
I'm going Ciampa.
All right. Old TC for you. Now we move on. It's a goddamn night 2 of NXT Takeover. Stand and deliver. I should have got more pirate theme music.
I was half expecting Johnny Moonbags to come and be like, the night 2, sponsored by some sort of vodka. That was $8 for a handle. News 1. News, like every time you say night 1, night 2, I'm expecting Johnny Moonbag.
Yeah.
We'll have to get him to record our next voiceover.
I'll get him to do that for us. I know a guy. Hey, so just so we're clear on this too, like Takeover as a whole, night 1 and 2, they're one thing, right? We add that we don't like switch the belt between night 1 and night 2. We wait till night 2's over for the belt if the belt switches, right? Like they're
is that how we're doing Mania too?
Yes, they're considered one event each. Like that's the way that I was looking at it.
I need that half a night to either cower in the corner holding on to the belt, swatting rats away, like get the fuck away from this thing, no one's taking it from me, or going out in the town and celebrating, waving that bitch around.
Very well put. Very well put. So let's get into night 2 of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. How about this for an opening match and what I think will be one of the unsung like great matches of the weekend? Jordan Devlin versus Santos Escobar in the NXT Cruiserweight Championship match.
Rapist Devlin.
Yes.
Because he's a rapist, I'm going to go with Santos.
Yeah, I'm going Santos as well.
I'm going Santos too.
Yeah. I also think that during this period of, this weird, rapist accusations aside, with the whole pandemic and everything that's gone on, Santos Escobar has done a wonderful job of not only he's elevated that belt in my mind. Yeah. I think he's done a fantastic job of everything.
Dude, I forgot fucking Jordan Devlin existed.
Same. I mean, to me, he was always just kind of like, oh, you're mini Finn Balor or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that.
I guess.
Yeah.
Less talented, less rapey. But the same amount of abs.
Yeah. Yeah. How about then Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart versus The Way? I got to go Ember Moon and Shotzi. I think it's too soon for the champions to lose it again.
Yeah. I think you're right. And I think that Candice and Indy, Candice is the ringleader of The Way. Like,
I think they're going to have a very bad night.
Yeah, The Way is going to have a very bad night. So, yes, I will also go with Ember and Shotzi.
Yeah, I'm going with that as well.
All right. We're doing it again. Well, it happens. Let's then get into Gargano versus the Gauntlet Elimination winner. And this is where we need to clarify it. If we pick the Gauntlet Eliminator winner, that doesn't mean that it has to be your pick of the Gauntlet Eliminator winner. Okay? So you can pick. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Oh, you're making it a little bit loose.
A little bit loosey goosey here.
I see.
So if
that's easy, so obviously I'm just going to go with the GE dub, the Gauntlet Eliminator winner.
And we're all going to probably do that, aren't we? Yeah. I mean, I threw that out there. If we want to go the other way, I'm more than happy to go the other way. It
doesn't matter because,
I think Johnny's going to lose the belt.
Yeah.
Regardless of how we look at it, I think he is, and it's just like we said, The Way is going to have a bad night.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really, really bad night at the Gargano house.
So GE dubs all across the board on that.
GE dubs all across.
Cole versus O'Reilly in the unsanctioned match. This one's tough.
Oh, it is. O'Reilly. I don't know that that's gonna be my pick, but man.
I'm going O'Reilly.
You're going O'Reilly?
I'm just going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to go O'Reilly.
Just because, or?
Well, I think they've been brewing this story too much, and the comeuppance needs to be there. That without it, it would. I feel like Adam Cole can rebound better than Kyle O'Reilly with the loss. I also think there is the potential upon post-Mania for Adam Cole to get moved up to the main roster independently. Now that the Undisputed Era is... Oh, you going Cole? All right.
I'm going to go Cole. And the only reason that I'm going Cole is, I mean, I agree that Cole can take a loss better, but I don't know what you do with O'Reilly after this, regardless of whether he wins or loses. So I feel like you keep Cole established as...
I think you have Kyle O'Reilly get into the North American title picture.
Probably. So...
I'm going to go Kyle O'Reilly just because I think Cole's done everything he can do in NXT at this time. So this is the perfect time and the send-off for him to help put someone over, go up to the main roster. Hopefully they don't. They're going to. Hopefully they don't fuck it up. But with like everything breaking down, I don't know. It just seems like the perfect time. Like with I don't know, everything fracturing and then him being a little bit more like on his own. Like it's a good way to send him off. Like you don't need to bring any of this faction back. You don't need you could. People would love it. You know, you got to wait a few months, I think. But like now is the time to, if you're going to call him up. He's kind of done everything he can do.
He has. I'm worried that Vince doesn't see him as a main roster guy.
If he doesn't, I mean, if he doesn't, I feel like he's got to see a little fucking Shawn Michaels in him.
That's what I'm hoping. That's
what we're all hoping. I know that NXT are the kings of giving you a payoff that's not really a payoff.
And then there's also the talk of like that contract's, not going to last forever, and would he want to, jump ship to be with his boys in AEW?
Right. And then what also do you do with Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong?
I mean, they can tag, I guess. They can probably
No. I mean, like, I feel like they have to play a part in this match somewhere. I feel like they will sort of make the decision. And look, like
they'll make the decision for him, and I think that they're going to actually side with Kyle O'Reilly and kick Adam Cole out.
Probably. And honestly, like I'm literally going with Cole because I think we're gonna all go across the board in agreement. Otherwise, it's literally just
fair enough.
I'm blind throwing.
I mean, this might be the only thing we were off on, because when Owen was off, it was only you and I were agreeing on the other matches previously, right. Duncan. So I think this is maybe the only one that's off.
Well, there's a couple. There's a couple that we can.
Are there?
Yeah, there's a couple. Then we got Balor and Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship. I'm going to throw a curveball on you here. I think Balor retains. Because I think
there's a lot of people that think that.
Because I think that they're going to move Karrion Kross up to the main roster in very short time. I think he is a main roster guy. Just look at him. Look at the act. I think that's the next Randy Orton feud.
The only problem with it is that he has not hit. What matches has he had since he's come back from injury? He had the match against Damian Priest that we didn't give a shit about.
Yep.
And then
he's had a couple more.
Yeah, a couple.
I'm struggling to find them. Yeah, in my head.
He beat both the Legado del Fantasma guys.
Yeah, which fine.
Yeah, so I'm very torn. I do think he'll go up to the main roster.
Question of when, not if, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going Balor.
I am.
I am. If Kross doesn't,
the only reason not to give Kross the title is if you're putting him on the main roster.
Right.
Exactly.
But
that's the only logical reason. But we know WWE does not operate on logic.
But my question then becomes, who challenges Balor next?
That was my problem. That was my big thing with it, is that Finn, if he doesn't stay in NXT, Finn can't lose the belt and stay in NXT. And Finn doesn't want to go up to the main roster.
Finn can lose the belt and stay in NXT if he goes away for a little while.
That would fuck you. Just goddamn it.
You said it last week, Duncan. After I got off the podcast, when I was listening, you were like, "Yeah, he's gonna go. He's gonna live in the jungle on the beach, with his fucking wife. You know,
he'll come back at SummerSlam." I'm going Kross.
Going Kross.
cross. I like where your head's at, though. I really do.
I do too.
We'll see. We'll see.
It's good, like, and those are the things. Like, that's the thing is like those are the ones that are.
Because I want it to be what you're saying. Because I think that actually could be huge, and I think that actually, I think that would be a good move, especially with them moving to Tuesday nights.
Yeah,
you need a strong presence and a strong. You know what I'm saying? You need someone like Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I'm going on my own night, right?
Tuesday nights or Balor, whatever.
That's
like,
kind of well. I mean, at least for a little bit, like just to continue.
Yeah.
Like that little bit of stardom as you cross over.
Out of the both nights, which match are either of you particularly looking forward to the most? Not do you think will be the best match? Which match are you looking forward to?
That's a very good question. I think it's honestly, I think it's Walter and Ciampa.
I'm so glad you said that because that's what I was thinking. Like, I think the Balor match is gonna be amazing. Like, we're gonna be served up what we usually get served up. I feel like is an amazing NXT pay-per-view that kind of blows things out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think they're gonna do a great job over 2 nights. There are a lot of amazing matches, but I think the hard-hitting style, and that's what's gonna be.
We're gonna feel those chops through the TV.
Part of it, we're gonna be this really heavy.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna feel them in person.
Yes, and before we actually get out of here for our I wouldn't say first segment, but first show on podcast of the week. We are gonna be taking a little break ski, but I just want to let everybody know about something here. So me and Duncan are both in with some people over at the NXT world. And Duncan, you've been twice. I've just been the once. And I was the one that got the email this time that was like, yo, you can get in for stand and deliver
Stand and
with
Edward James Almost.
Yeah. And how
can I reach these kids?
So I forwarded the email as soon as I got it to Duncan. We're both on there, just like logging in. Unfortunately, it's both my wife's birthday and I've got to do my Ohno radio show podcast. So I was only able to go on the one night, on the Wednesday. Duncan was like, I got nothing going on. I can go both nights. And so this motherfucker gets in. He gets to go on both nights. I get nothing. Get nothing. And it's not.
Belts. It's the championship of going to wrestling.
They invite him. They didn't invite me.
Man, this is what you get for prioritizing your wife's birthday and your radio show over live wrestling.
This is it. We figured out though that the only reason it must be is because they would have to pay for they get out of paying for an extra COVID test in a sense, right? Like, if you're going both nights, you only get tested the once. I'm sure most people just picked, hey, I'm going both nights. Yeah. So, like, hey, we get to do it once and you're good, rather than having me go for the one night makes a ton more sense. So, in retrospect, I should have done both nights.
I was worried that you were gonna get in and I wasn't, just because like I was in my mind, it's like this mad rush and like it's gone in seconds, like it's gone in a few minutes, like the availability for things.
So we both got in within the first like 2 minutes. Like we were both like boom, like we nailed it. So it's not a case of us like not doing that.
No, but it was just it's like, oh, they're gonna offer us, and you get some sort of free merchandise item, which will probably be a mask.
A mask or a chair. Duncan wants his chair.
A chair. I really want a chair. I'm just gonna hang out at the back.
Yeah.
You should just wait until everybody leaves. Any random chair that you see that it's available for you to walk away with. You should take it.
Doesn't even have to be an NXT branded chair.
No,
it
doesn't.
It's just like some random office chair.
Yeah, like literally, it's just sitting in the corner of your living room. They're like, people are like, what's that? You're like, oh yeah, I went to NXT Stand and Deliver, and I got that chair.
They're like,
well, that's not a promotional.
They're like,
chair.
But that's an office chair.
Yeah, no, I was walking out, and no one was sitting there, and I took it.
So I took it. I wanted it. Yeah, I needed it.
That was one thing that I remember from the tour of the Performance Center is they had a bunch of the old chairs from the old events, like just in the training center. Like it's just what they use to sit around on when they're not doing shit.
At my parents' house, I still have the 2001 Rumble.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I still have that one.
That's really cool. And Duncan made a great point with them going to Tuesday nights. He's like, I can't remember if they have the Wednesday night, like the branding on it, like NXT Wednesday nights.
Wednesday
and if that's the
8 a.m.,
case,
8
and they
p.m.
got to get rid of them anyway, right? So why not give them out as gifts to the fans? So I hope that works out for you, man. I really do hope you get a chair. And if you get a chance to pick up an extra, I'm
gonna slide out. Like they're gonna be like, sir, how many chairs do you have? I'll be like, there's only one chair.
But it'd be
not three, not one for each of my homies.
But dude, we hope you have a great time at Takeover. It's awesome that we have somebody from Ohno Wrestling Podcast going to the actual event. That's
I'll
huge.
post some pictures on the old Instagram.
Yeah, post some pictures, send some to me so I can post them on the Facebook, and we'll definitely have some fun with that. That being said, let's get out of here for our first podcast of the week. Guys, it's been fun hanging out with you with some wrestling news and some takeover action. Make sure to check out our next podcast as we are going to be talking all about WrestleMania 37 and, of course, doing every bit of the predictions for night 1 and night 2 of that. Check us out at twitch.tv/ONRS Live every Tuesday night at 8:30. OhnoWrestling.com. Find our Facebook group, Ohno Space Wrestling. And what do we say when we get at at Ohno Wrestling on Instagram? Almost always forget. Sorry, I'm just not an Instagram fella.
I know it.
Patreon.com/ONRS. And what do we say when we get out of here, boys? Ooh.